Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1718 AN. Today's date is November 18th, 2018, and the title of the episode is, They All Know, Part of the Plan, One Step Closer to the Central Bank Removal. Before we get started, I wanted to talk about the patriots that are fighting for our country. Every generation seems to have its own president. Each seems to define an era. Our generation will have Donald Trump as their president. He will be remembered as the president who stood up to the deep state. This holiday season, Noble Gold is offering the solid silver Trump 2020 Freedom Coin. Noble Gold has sold thousands of these beautiful coins as collector items for investments. Yes, because these are 0.999% fine silver. And today, there's a holiday special offer on right now. Go to TrumpCoin2020.com and put the code X22 to receive free shipping if you buy 3 coins or more. Let's get into the economic collapse financial news. Now, we've been saying this for quite a while that any country that wants to leave the central bank, the central bankers are going to make it very, very difficult. And we need to clear something up right off the bat here. For this system to get out of this central bank system, you just can't say, hey, you know something? We don't want to do this anymore. The only way out is to destroy it. Now, think about what is happening out in the UK. Right now, Theresa May put together this terrible deal, pushing it on the people that wanted to leave the EU, and they're saying that this is going to be good for the country. Now, look at the deal. It's weighted towards the central bank. It's not weighted towards the people. Why? Because the central bank will never let countries leave. Now, the EU is threatening the UK access to security database for terrorism and things like that if they don't accept the plan. This is what the central bank does. They threaten countries, people, groups, if they don't do what they want. And we see at this point that the people are very upset with this deal. There are leaders that are resigning because of this deal, and it's not in the best interest of the people. Out in Italy, we see that 60% of Italians, they're thinking about, maybe the EU is not good for our country. Maybe we need to leave also. And I think what's going to happen here is as more countries catch on to what's really going on here and they see what is happening out in the UK, they're going to start to realize, well, wait a minute, this country wanted to leave the EU bloc and they're threatening them, saying that they will make it very, very difficult to ever leave in the people's favor, and they are stuck with the central bank dictating what they should do. And I think a lot of countries are going to start to wake up from this, and I think there's going to be a huge shift. And this is what the central banks are trying to stop. Now, out in Italy, the European Commission, they want to levy billions of fines against the Italian government. And this is like a punishment to Italy. And 60 million Italians will rise up if this does happen. Now, this is coming from the Prime Minister Matteo Salvini, saying, listen, if you place these fines on Italy, of course it's going to hurt the people there. People are going to rise up against you, and it's not going to end up well for the central bank system. So we could see that countries, they're starting to understand what is happening here. So how do you get rid of a central bank system? Well, you have to push it to the edge. Now, remember, central bank systems, they only last 40 to 45 years. Maybe they can go a little bit longer like this one, because they're continually creating currency, they're holding it together, they're manipulating the data. But eventually what happens, everything just breaks down, and they can't stop it. So they know that they're running out of time. Tick tock, they're running out of time. This is why they wanted a war, some type of an event, to cover up everything. In the meantime, we see that Trump and the Patriots, they are preparing for the total destruction of the central banking economic system. This is their currency system. Now, remember, countries around the world, leaders around the world were part of this system. They were part of the deep state, part of the central bank system. They wanted the central bank system. They made a huge amount of money off of the central bank system. They don't want to see it gone. They like it. They like having the central bank. And they were preparing for a completely different plan. Now, everything has changed. And the push to destroy the system is still on. Now, the system was going to go down no matter which way you looked at it. It all depends on who had the narrative. When Obama was president, they were hoping Hillary Clinton would come in, the central bank would control the narrative, and they would still be in power. Even though their system was going to, collapse, they were going to cover it up and blame it, on the war, on another country, and they were going to restart it later on. Today, their plan is not working. Trump's plan, the Patriots' plan, this plan is working. And the central bank has no place to hide right now. They don't have an event. They don't have a war. They don't have a country to blame all of this on. So all the blame is going to be coming back to them. Now, countries, they were going to prepare for this no matter what. And we see that countries are continually preparing for this. What are they doing? Well, if you know a system is going to crash, what do you get rid of? You get rid of your paper assets from that country, like treasuries. China has been dumping. We know Russia, they've dumped almost all of it. I mean, they've been dumping quite a bit. Japan right now, they dropped $2 billion. This is the lowest since 2011. France, they are dropping treasury holdings. They went from $118 billion down to $97.7 billion. We see Ireland, they sold $25 billion. And if we continually look at this, we see country after country, they are getting rid of their treasuries. What country's purchasing right now? Well, the Saudis are. Remember, the Saudis are part of the deep state system. They still control the Saudis. And they are purchasing a lot of treasuries. They hold a lot of paper. And what we're seeing right now is that countries, they are still doing what they were going to do no matter what, because this was still part of the plan. They knew the economic system was going to come down. They knew it was going to be covered up. They knew that there was going to be an event eventually. And all these players, the elite, the establishment, the deep state, the central bankers, they all knew that this was going to happen. The problem now is that the plan is up in the air for the central bankers. Their system is crashing. They can't stop it. They can prolong it. They can't stop it. Trump, the Patriots, they are pushing this to the extreme. They know they need to destroy the central bank system. If they don't destroy the central bank system, the central bank will return. They will come back, restart the system, and control the world once again. They control it right now. They tell governments what to do. When you put a government into debt, they can dictate to that country and say, listen, you need to implement these austerity laws. You need to cut these programs. And what happens? The people pay for it. The people enslaved with taxes. Then people are out in the cold with no programs. And it just gets worse and worse and worse as time goes on. And we could see exactly what happens if you try to transition out of a central bank system without destroying it. In the UK, they are trying to get out of the EU. The central bankers won't let them. The plan they came up with was really not a plan. It's all weighted towards the EU and not towards the people. It's really not a Brexit. They did this on purpose because the central bankers, they're never going to let a country go. They're never going to let their system die and let it be blamed on them if they can help it. So Trump and the Patriots, their only course of action is to destroy the entire system and blame it on them. This is why we see Trump out there contradicting the Fed, saying if this goes down, guess what? They're to blame. And he kept on pushing the interest rates, saying, well, I wouldn't be doing this right now. The Fed knows that we have debt coming up soon. The Fed knows if they keep raising the interest rates, it's going to destroy the economy. Guess what? The mainstream media, they already knew this. They already knew that if the Fed raised the rates, the system will come down. Because remember, the plan was Trump was going to have this awful economy. The Fed was going to raise rates. The economy was then going to crash. and the mainstream media was going to turn around and blame it all on Trump. This way he wouldn't be able to get elected in 2020, or maybe he would have been ousted halfway through his presidency. But he turned the tables on them. He used their manipulation against them. And now look, the mainstream media is saying, whoa, slow down, Fed. Slow it down, because we know what's going to happen if you keep raising the rates. The system's going to come down. The problem is the person inside the Fed is working with Trump, who's going to continually raise the rates. They're not going to slow this down. They're going to speed this up because they want this system coming down. They want it to be blamed on the Fed. And now they have the mainstream media all pointing the finger at the Fed. The plan just worked. The mainstream media, the deep state, they just were caught in a trap. And we can see right now other countries around the world, they're dumping paper assets. They're going to be getting prepared. They'll be taking on other paper assets because they know if they hold on to treasuries, they're going to be doomed in the long run. And a lot of countries are starting to wake up right now. Actually, the people of these countries, other leaders that are coming into place, they understand that we can no longer work with the central bank. We can no longer abide by their rules, their laws. We have to break free of them. And this is why we see the UK saying they want to break free. Italy is saying that we want to break free. And we're going to see a lot more countries do this as the deep state central bank leaders start to step down. People are going to say, we want someone that is going to work for the people. And you're going to see this shift around the world. We're already starting to see it. It's a very slow process. This does not happen in a day, doesn't happen in a week, doesn't happen in a month. It's a slow process, but there's a slow shift. And as countries start to wake up, people start to wake up, guess what? More say the same thing. We want to be in control of our finances. We want to be in control of what laws we make. We want to be in control of our countries. And I think by Trump, the Patriots releasing and declassifying the FISA memos and everything else, this will just speed up the process, not just here, around the world. Because remember, once this comes out and other countries like UK, Australia, and the rest start to realize that they were all involved in this, and the deep state and their leaders were involved in this, the Five Eyes, well, the people are going to say, well, wait a minute, what else is going on here? And a lot of people are going to start to wake up. So there's only one way to get out of this central bank system, which will take down everything else. It's to destroy it. And if you look what Trump is doing right now with tariffs, with pushing the agenda across the globe, making trade slow down, making everything come to a standstill, having the Fed push rates up faster and faster while the ECB hasn't even decided to do it yet until, next year? I mean, each central bank is doing something completely different. They're not in sync anymore. That tells you something. That tells you they're in chaos, which means there's no coordinated effort anymore. And they're not steering the ship, which tells you Trump and the Patriots, they're steering the ship. They're telling the system which way to go, how fast, and when it will be destroyed. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.